Read my lips. No new friends. I'm just kidding. I'm always up for new friends. I just don't know where to put them.
In your pocket? My favorite local breakfast sandwich just up and decided to change the bun to a biscuit. How dare you toy with my simple pleasures?
I cannot imagine your pain right now, Heather. I ate leftover salmon for breakfast. So what up, breakfast fish people? We know who we are.
Ew. The most middle-aged thing I did this week was gush to everyone about my homemade pesto.
Have such a good day. Hello world, welcome back to Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to do just that.
I was totally lip syncing that, Sarah. You gotta laugh so you don't cry, y'all. How's everybody doing out there? This is the show that likes to unpack the absurdity of everyday life because it's fun and it's weird and it keeps on giving. How are you doing, Sarah?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Heather. This is episode 207. Two honey Sebs.
Too honey.
And yeah, we're raring to go. Heather and I were actually going to record yesterday. In fact, we were actually going to record the day before yesterday. And both of us just kind of like, we just like, shit happened. And
it was like I had a case of the Mondays, you had a case of the Tuesdays. And then Wednesday, I don't know what happened. It was just a doozy of a week, I guess, Sarah.
There was a lot going on.
Stuff and things.
So we're recording now. When you're listening to this, you don't really care when we recorded. But Heather and I would like you to know that we've had doozy weeks, okay?
Yeah, it's been a doozy week. But you did a great President Bush impression, Sarah.
Thank you. HW. He doesn't get the memes that his son gets these days. So
yeah, that's true.
I'll just,
If y'all don't know what we're talking about, you could just Google it.
People know read my lips, no new taxes.
Sure.
Well, actually, I should say, because we have some folks that are not U.S. based. Maybe you go, I don't know that. It's like a...
Maybe younger generations.
It was a very famous thing that he said.
But you know what? You made me think of David Lynch, actually.
Yeah, maybe I do. My George H.W. is a little bit more David Lynch. A little more. I gotta get
a little off kilter.
Impressions were never my strongest suit, Heather. So
well,
listen,
at least you have a radio voice.
You're a face for radio anyway, especially in the morning. Well, you asked how everybody out there was doing, and and I'm going to be part of that group, and I will tell you, Heather, that
because you are out there.
I am out there, boy, in outer space.
In many ways.
Yeah. I had, just to unpack a little bit about the doozy week.
Let's do it.
I had just one of those days yesterday where everything just melted down around me.
Yeah.
And I can't point to, well, I couldn't. I'll get to what I'm pointing to in a minute, but I couldn't pinpoint what set me off. I've been there, I don't know, weight of the world on my shoulders,
Sure.
Lately, as we all have. But it was like a couple things happened. Somebody sends an email that's just the tone is a little off to me.
Yeah.
That sort of thing where it's like, this is not a day ruining thing on its own, but there were a few of those. And I mean, it got to the point where I was like, I went to the gym and went so hard on the treadmill, at a very steep incline. I looked kind of insane. Because I was like, I'm so worked up that I know this is the only way out of it. Sorry, my phone's ringing. That's very annoying. And I'm gonna go ahead and decline that call.
Actually,
well, I should.
I'm a ringer off kind of gal. I let it vibrate.
Well, should have done that. I updated my Apple Watch this morning, and so there was a whole iPhone, Apple Watch thingamajig happening, and I just shit the bed. All right, we're not going to do that again. Silent mode is now on. So anyway, it was a bad day yesterday, and went to the gym, ran it out, looked crazy, sweat everywhere. I mean, I was just a monster. But I did feel better afterwards. Came home, had dinner, and was like, okay, you know what? You're allowed to like go off the deep end a little bit here and there. Let's just, like what's our learning experience here? It was a bad day. Now, until I went to bed, I just thought like, it was just a bad day. And this is, it happens. But it was like a really bad day. And, it was sort of like on the verge of tears, here and there. Like one of those days where you're like, I can't get it together. Everything is upsetting me. And this morning, so I never thought about really the day yesterday, but this morning I woke up, I look at the date because, of course, that's what we do. It's September 21st. And yesterday was September 20th, which is the anniversary of my dad's death. And I never thought about it yesterday.
Interesting.
It just didn't come up, but it was almost like it was buried inside me somewhere.
Totally.
And it really did, there was nothing, particularly like death related that happened yesterday. I mean, in the world, in my world. And so it was like something like inside my subconscious was like, like wound tightly.
I believe it.
And so that's September 20th. This is something, my mom and I have talked about this a lot. It's like, this is something that, we never like celebrated the day, but we used to kind of like acknowledge, go to the cemetery, she did more than I did because I was often nowhere near here. But we don't talk about it anymore. It's not, there's no real interesting factoid about it. It's a day that happened. But last year, weirdly, on September 20th, so September 20th, 2022, was also when I had my second breast cancer diagnosis. So this is like, I already had it, I had surgery, healed up, then I got it, it came back. That was September 20th, and I remember this because last year on September 20th, I did go to the cemetery. And on my way to the cemetery, I'm still in the car, my oncology surgeon calls me to talk about like, okay, next steps. Like, this is pretty bad. We thought we thought we got it and, it's back. So, talk about like a crazy day.
Wow,
so
I
the
had no
day,
idea all of
and
this
I
was
didn't think
behind
about
it.
that as, I wouldn't have remembered that I talked to my oncology surgeon. I wouldn't have remembered the date, except that I remember where I was when she called me. And I was going to the cemetery, which is just like, it's on a road that I usually wouldn't travel otherwise. Like it just, I know when it was. So I was like, this morning, like, gosh, do we have these little things just inside our brains, just sort of waiting to like need a release? Because I was really off yesterday and I never thought about either of those things until this morning where I was like, oh, wait a second. It's September 21st, which means yesterday was the 20th.
Does that give you a little peace in the sense that you're like, oh, okay, now I know why. Maybe I know why I felt so crappy.
I don't know. I don't know that it. Listen, my dad died in 2004, so I've had many a year where like I wouldn't even think about September 20th until like a week or more later. Kind of thing. Yeah. There was no sort of like build up type thing. But I also find that a little weird that I don't think about that. Maybe it's like a coping mechanism because my dad's birthday is October 8th, so just in a few weeks. And then my birthday is October 12th. So his birthday and my birthday have always been linked together because we're only a few days apart. And I've said on the show before, my birthday is not a huge deal. Everybody gets older as long as we're still alive. We're getting older, second by second. But it all compounds into sort of this like, okay, dad died, cancer, birthdays. And then it's like, oh, and now it's Halloween, right? That's only a couple of weeks after that. And, marching, because everybody just, I don't know, holidays are like 6 months long now. So it's like right around the time of Halloween is when we all start thinking about Christmas. Thanksgiving's in there somewhere. And what am I doing? And I think weirdly, I mean, talking about it now, I'm like, yeah, this all kind of makes sense. Like, life is still precious and great. I can keep it together. But yesterday I just I went sideways. I really did.
Yeah.
And I think, somewhat unbeknownst to myself, this all played a part. So anyway, today's a new day. So we're all good.
It is. And it's funny because I didn't have as much of a sort of layered experience as you did. I mean, especially because you didn't really realize it until you were halfway through. I just had more of a case of the Mondays this week. Maybe it's just, I don't know, wherever some planet is in the universe right now, who knows, maybe it's the retrograde something. But yeah, it was the same for me though. In the sense,
retrograde, I think it's Mercury.
Yeah, it could be like
Mercury
that.
in retrograde.
Doesn't Uranus go through retrograde? I mean,
don't talk about my butt, okay? That's my business and my business only.
All right, so for me, I had a similar experience in the sense that it wasn't exactly one thing, but it was a sequence of events that were triggering throughout the day, sort of not bad news, but just unsavory situations with my business. And then on top of it, I for some reason I was really having a hard time understanding, looking at the map of California and seeing that all of the current wildfires are clustered around me. And
yeah.
I obviously would never want wildfires around anyone else, but I'm just I'm in Northern California. I would never have thought, I thought escaping SoCal was saving me from that, or not being in wine country where my friends want to move because they're so afraid of being burnt down. And meanwhile, I've got another day today of super smoky skies, very bad. And so I'm
because you're
really
getting
paranoid.
Southern Oregon stuff, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff near me.
That's
California.
something that would affect you, but doesn't even affect me. Because I'm too far south.
No, well, so basically, there's Southern Oregon. Obviously, there's actually, it goes all the way up to Washington and Canada, but there's actually a lot of fires just north of here in California and just east of here, near me,
Crescent
very
City
close
type
by.
area.
Yeah. Up there, just east of here, Willow Creek. I am just, it's freaking me out, man. And it's there will be a potentially beautiful, sunny, nice day, which I gripe about the weather here sometimes because there can be cloud cover being on the coast. And so whenever there's a sunny day, I'm really pumped. But the sun finally comes out and then it's covered in smoke.
Right.
And so I just get I've never been more kind of frustrated with it, and we have to close all of our windows, and it's just a whole thing.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the trade-off, and you've talked about this on the show before, right? Is you live in a beautiful part of the world, and the trade-off is that you're kind of far away from stuff.
Yeah.
And that can be, you've got a long drive to get to the Bay Area. You've got to, get on a plane to get anywhere else. I mean, unless you really want to drive all of California. But you're kind of in this beautiful part of the world where you're supposed to be, I don't know. Yeah, safe.
Exactly.
I guess.
So it's a psychological thing. So I think I started to spin in my head, and I was oh my gosh, I should go get another air purifier. And I started to go down this rabbit hole. Where could I get an air purifier? And then I got really frustrated being so remote. There's often very little stock up here. You have to get things shipped, you know? And so I'm just I just you spiral. But anyway, so I relate, but it's every single day is different. Yesterday I had a great day. I was very productive. I mean, I am a little disappointed that I wasn't invited to the Sofia Coppola book launch party at Chateau Marmont. But I'll just have to have my own party. Thank you very much.
Were you expecting to be invited?
No, but I wish I were.
Gosh,
no,
I haven't
of
been
course
to
not.
Chateau
I don't
Marmont
know
in
her personally.
quite some time. In fact, you were there with me last time I was there.
I think so. I know.
You were. I remember
that.
because we saw
Yep.
Diane Keaton dining
We
at a
did.
table nearby.
I did. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
we used to go to lunch there on the patio.
yeah, you know, it's a
times.
scene, but it's like
It is
it's a
such a scene.
scene for anybody who's this is like it's a hotel, but also
Sunset Boulevard,
a
Hollywood.
celeb see and be seen kind of thing. Like there's a
Yeah.
bar, there's like an outdoor patio. It's cool. It's very, old LA kind of thing. But it's
Yeah,
the kind of
classic.
place that it's not like just for tourists. Like you will see celebrities there for, I don't know, better or worse. But Heather and I were there. We were meeting our friend Winter. And there were other people there. I think Mauricio was there. Anyway, these are friends that you all don't know, but our friends. And your back was to Diane Keaton. I was like, oh, I got a good one. Got a good
Yeah.
one. Don't
That
look
was a really
now.
good one. She was wearing gloves too.
She was.
Just,
She's a
you know.
glove wearer. Yeah. It's
She
like a
is. Speaking of
germ
LA,
thing.
actually, yesterday I booked a little. Well, I'm going to LA mid-October, kind of around your birthday, Sarah. You should come. And
I might. I got no other plans.
yeah, I got tickets a couple weeks ago. You should totally come. But I'm taking some friends and their kid to the Magic Castle because of this
Oh my gosh.
reciprocal club thing.
The
Kinda
Magic
fun.
Castle. I was about to say my Magic Castle. I have nothing to do with it. I've only been once. So fun. Love it.
It is. It's really fun. We're doing a brunch on like the weekend, and then you can do you see the magic stuff like before and after. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I've only been there.
Something to look
It was
forward
kind
to.
of like an evening thing. In fact,
Yeah.
I have a funny. I'm glad you're doing that. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes. I've only
all
been there
good.
once. It was actually, weirdly enough, after my dad died. My mom's birthday is in March, so it was her birthday. I lived in LA. She and I were both just limping along, barely, coherent people. So, it was not even 6 months afterwards. She came to LA for her birthday. And I took her to the Magic Castle for her birthday. And, and I'm sure the brunch thing is somewhat similar. It's like you have an appointment, like you have to go at a certain time, they let, this is sort of, your, reservation time, like a restaurant. But then there is a restaurant inside, which then you can, reserve a time for dinner because you want to like see like various shows and this and that. And I remember it was just like, I don't know, we probably went on a Saturday night or something. And it was just like the only time for like a sit down dinner, because I wanted to do something nice for her, was at 9. Yeah. And I didn't want to tell her that because she would have said, oh, I don't want to go. No, I'm not eating dinner at 9. That's insane. My mom eats dinner at like 5:30. And, which is actually not the worst idea in the world, but it's quite early. And so I told her like, as we were driving there, and my boyfriend at the time didn't have a tie. And I'm like, you need a tie. You're supposed to dress up. Oh my God. We had to like find a tie somewhere. It was a whole thing. And I said, by the way, Mom, we're not eating dinner until 9. And she was like, what? Why are you doing this to me on my birthday? And I'm like, you're going to love this. Just fucking go with it.
I bet she did, right?
And
Did
she did.
actually
Oh,
let
we
go
loved
and
it.
enjoy?
It was great. It was so fun. I love magic.
Well, it's funny, Sarah, I realized looking at my calendar, I am actually flying on your birthday. You should consider this. We could book a night or two at the Chateau Marmont for your birthday.
Whoa.
Seriously, why not, dude? Seriously.
Yeah.
And
no, I don't know why not.
Whoop it up.
Sounds kind of
whoop
fun.
Whoop it up. And just think about it, because I'm going to be there for a whole week. And we could, we could celebrate your B-Day. We could go to the Magic Castle.
That could be fun.
Think about it.
That could be fun. Midweek.
Have a think on it.
My birthday's midweek. I don't remember what day it is.
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday. Oh, okay. So it could be like
So
the
I'm
following
flying that
weekend type thing. Yeah.
Well,
let's
weekend.
Let's ruminate. Let's ruminate on that
we're
one.
ruminating on that.
Yeah.
So other than trying to be better about planning ahead, I'm pretty good about booking my trips to LA just because it's kind of a short jaunt. It's kind of easy. But I've been just going back and forth about this trip I'm supposed to do to New Orleans, just looking at tickets. They're crazy expensive. And I don't know, maybe November is like a popular time to go, but I have like a couple things that I want to put in the calendar and just book ahead of time so I can like look forward to it. But it's on my list. It's on my very, very long list. You know, I have to just one little quick update that I'm sure y'all are anxious to hear about.
Bated breath, Heather.
I think I've taken the Liam Neeson soothing action movie thing a little too far.
Wow.
You know, Liam Neeson has done a lot of movies. He's been in so many action movies. It's kind of crazy actually going down this rabbit hole because you realize you're like, I've never heard of this movie like ever. And you watch them because you're like, it's Liam Neeson. It's got to be, you know, good.
Yeah, where he's going to say something very deadpan. And you're going to go, we love you, Liam.
No, we're in the dud zone. We're in the dud zone of the Liam Neeson oeuvre. And we're taking a break. So other than that, business as usual, trying to move the damn needle here in NorCal with my business, dealing with, you know, lots of high interest rates and insurance hikes, and there's nothing you can really do about it though. You know, it's just those strange times, smoky skies. I just wish the world would chill a little though. Honestly, I feel like, I don't know. It's a lot all the time, but a good little piece of non like super adult stressful stuff is that you know, and you speaking of friends at the top of the show, Sarah, you know, we both have a lot of friends, I feel like. I mean, we're pretty popular. Just kidding. No, really though. We have a lot of friends. We're of a certain age where we've collected people throughout our lives.
Yeah.
And
I feel like
I've friends from different stages.
It's sort of like, I don't know, if you think of it like the playa at Burning Man. In the center are like the real ones.
Yeah.
And then you've got like friends that you would love to see, but it's okay if you don't all that often.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have the acquaintances out, you know, in the outer circles that are maybe don't have as much in common with your art installation. But you see them here and there.
It's an interesting analogy, Sarah, because
Thank you. I don't know why I did that. I've never even been to Burning Man.
But I think you understand it enough to make an analogy. But I think that's actually a good way of putting it because, yeah, you've got your inner sanctum, your inner core of the people that you could just call on a whim and it's fine. They may or may not pick up, but usually they do. I mean, you talk on a regular basis. And then there's a lot of different layers nowadays because of the different ways you can communicate. Well, I have a dear friend of mine. There are these friends, though, that I've sort of maybe lost touch with a little bit. Maybe I keep tabs a little like on Instagram, on social media, but it's always that nagging feeling like, man, I really got to catch up with that person. I miss them. Like they mean a lot to me. And I want to be in more regular contact with them. How do I do this? And so I just reached out, and this is an old friend that you know. He goes by the name of Trout. And I consider him a good friend of mine, even though we've kind of, you know, I feel like I've been in this like drier cycle for the last couple of years, you know, where I'm just tumbling around and I'm, you know, I was thrown into kind of the fire of circumstance. It brought me up to NorCal. I'm kind of doing something totally different now. And so we kind of like I lost touch. I did stay with him actually about a year or so ago. And you know, had a fun time.
Well, you know, sorry to just interrupt quickly. I know this because you showed me a picture. He had this really cute new dog, and you know, as you're saying, like, oh, I haven't seen Trout in a while. I'm thinking, like, but didn't you see him recently? Because I saw the picture of his extremely cute dog, and that's why time needs to slow the F down because that was, I guess, a year ago. I feel like that was like recently.
I know, same. He said it was like 2 years ago. I'm like, no way. Like, no way. Like, that scared me. I was like, if it was 2 years ago, like something's wrong with my brain because it feels like 8 months ago, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, or yesterday, whatever. Time is a flat
circle.
You know, yeah, pretty much. So I
like Burning Man. See, it all comes back to the playa.
Yes, it does. So I caught up with him yesterday, and I just reached out. I was like, "Hey, dude, let's do a FaceTime," because we did used to do that. We used to work together. We had a really great working relationship, but also a really strong friendship. We were just that rare, not a rare breed, because Sarah, you and I have had that for a long time.
Sure.
But I just like, we traveled together. We were always going to New York together and having
some people
so
are
much
just
fun.
they're easy to be friends with.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's no kind of like, you know, it's like you just kind of you get each other. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's totally how it was. He was like in his robe, you know, he had a really fabulous robe on, but like, you know, it was just it felt very natural.
Robe.
It felt very natural and very like, oh yeah, like I feel like I just talked, you know, those friends where years can go by and then you connect and you're like, it's not that weird. And you don't have to catch up on every single little thing. You kind of get each other. So anyway, we caught up for like an hour. It was so great. Showed him around like the house and the property, and like he hadn't seen where I lived really. You know, he's long overdue to come visit, like you, Sarah. And so I was like, how do we make this a more regular thing? And he's like, I'm like, what if we did like a monthly call and like put it on the calendar? And he was like, yes, I love that. How about, okay, Wednesdays, because yesterday was Wednesday. And I call it Wines Day, because we were actually having a glass of wine together, like
Wines
on
Day.
the FaceTime.
Get it?
Yeah, pretty clever. I actually have my friend Jillian to thank for that. I think she came up with it, or maybe she got it from somewhere online. I'm sure someone else came up with it a long time ago.
Someone in the world probably also says Wednesday.
Someone in the world. So anyway, wonderful conversation, just reflections of the history we had together. And it really perked me up. It was really therapeutic, just like that, even reflection back on me of like who I am and who he makes me feel like. Like I love the way the reciprocal, just like the love, the who he sees me as, and just like the whole thing was so therapeutic. So the moral of the story is, and now he actually sent a calendar invite every, I think it's third Wednesday of the month, third Wines Day, we are going to do a FaceTime. I'm actually really excited. This is like something to look forward to every month. And so the moral of this is to reach out to an old friend, y'all. It doesn't hurt. It often helps. And it's my advice for you this week. Email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com if you have any thoughts on
Wines Day, friends, or others.
Old pals.
I love that, Heather. I'm kind of, I don't know, just probably because of my own wonky schedule. The idea of like every third Wednesday, now I have to do something else that's on my calendar, kind of, that would give me like, ugh, why am I doing this? But to hang out with a friend, I mean, one could argue you and I are kind of doing that. We're just letting everyone else in on our conversation that we have with each other once a week, which is great. Because if I didn't talk to you once a week, I mean, we talk, over text quite a bit, but not doing this, I would miss you.
100%.
So yeah, I think that's really cool. I've got
we don't do as much IRL these days, and that's what's so interesting is like we are very close, you know, like I know all the intricate details of your life, and we talk every day. We're slacking it up. We have like an ongoing chat that I don't have that with everybody, where it's like,
I mean, imagine if we were doing the show and I'm like, I don't know Heather that well. I just don't. I don't really know what her deal is.
The show would be really different.
You know, what makes her brain tick. No, I do. I definitely do. But I also have friends like what you're describing. I have friends where I don't think that I'm certainly not offended if I don't talk to them in a while, and I don't think that they're offended if they don't hear from me. But we, you know, speaking of birthdays, you know, I'm going to hear from them on my birthday. You know, and vice versa. Like stuff like that where it's like I never really feel like they've, gone into the ether. Even if it's been like a damn near year since we've spoken, we'll come back around and we'll be fine. Totally. Because it's like, again, inner circle of Burning Man.
Oh yeah,
all sandy and weird
the
glitter
perfect metaphor
stuff. It's fine. So anyway, well, good. You'll have to talk more about Wednesday.
I will.
As you have them. I'm down for Wednesday. Love a
Let's
good glass
do
of
it.
wine myself.
I'll just be on FaceTime all day. Let's do it.
Man, Heather, I think I've told everybody that I've got this like weird physical aversion to red wine now. It's not that I don't like the taste of it. I actually really do. I actually prefer red wine. It's just like I can't drink, like you drink red wine like maybe with dinner or like after the sun goes down type thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sometimes like rosé or whatever is like more fun for brunch, but because I'm going to brunch all the time, please. I eat like leftover fish for breakfast and go to the gym. But
gross.
I know it sounds gross. Like to me, it's like it's sustenance. I love fish for breakfast.
That is the title of one of your many books, Sarah. Leftover fish.
It's sustenance. A story of, one sad woman's
of life,
journey.
Love, and sustenance.
Yeah. Live, laugh, sustain.
It is a bestseller, let me tell you. I already see it. All the books.
What I did want to switch gears. I wanted to talk about burner accounts, Heather.
Not Burning Man, but
not
burner
Burning
accounts.
Man. No. There's a whole burning theme happening on the show,
there is a
which is
theme,
unintentional. Sure. Burner accounts, meaning like you might have ever heard the term the Finsta, which is an Instagram account that's like you're like I'm creeping on the low account.
Yeah.
Like no one knows it's me, or it's the way that I like spy on people that might have blocked me in the past. Much of this is childish and petty. But there are sometimes good reasons to have burner accounts. For example, I was telling the dudes on DTNS somewhat recently, like, yeah, I don't have a burner and I don't do that. And then I was like, wait a second, that is not even true. I have 2 burner Facebook accounts, which I use not like all that often, but it's like, well, because you can set a bunch of, you have a variety of settings for yourself. And then it's not so much that like it's a spy tool, although it can be, but it's sort of like I want to see what the if I don't know, the company rolls out new features or somebody talks about something weird happening. It's like, just, for my job, it's like, I want to see what the UI is in various circumstances. Like, okay, me, but also like, what if I just like use another email address and have another account and like who's getting recommended to me, that sort of thing. So I do have a couple of those. One might say that I have an Instagram burner account, but it's not really a burner account because it's my dog's account. So I have 2 accounts there. I mean, they're very public, both of them. So not a burner. But I have a burner Twitter account, definitely. It's called X now, but I'm still calling it Twitter, just so everybody knows what I'm talking about. And that's about it. So I wanted to ask you, Heather, is this something that you've ever dabbled in? And if not, do you think it's weird?
I'm trying to think if I've ever dabbled in this. I don't think I have. I mean, obviously, if I'm thinking about it, I probably haven't.
I wouldn't call you like a social media detective. I feel like you just sort of go, you know what, y'all play in your sandbox over there.
I'm a real life detective,
else.
Sarah.
No, I believe you're a good detective if you want to be.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's the key word, want.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in fact, with my friend yesterday, we were talking about Tumblr and how much I was a Tumblr kind of social media person. I never really been a Twitter person, and I've never really been a Facebook, but I would say I do miss the Tumblr world. And I am an Instagram person. I would say that's the only place that I do a fair amount of sleuthing, but I was considering doing a anonymous Substack mostly because
An anonymous Substack.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think the reason I started a Substack, truth be told, I did. I started it. I wanted to do it before my trip, and then
Oh my
I
God,
get
is
really
your
lazy
Finsta.
about writing.
It's an anonymous Substack. All right, keep going.
And I have a lot to say, Sarah, but I
Okay.
don't know if what I have to say anyone would care about, or they would just roll their eyes, or it's like a typical writer's concern. Like, is anyone going to like what I write or like what I have to say?
Well, because if they know who you are, you worry that whatever you bring to the table,
They might
that's
judge me.
part of your sort of aura. Like
Yeah.
they will use, not against, but in conjunction with whatever you say going forward.
Yes, exactly. It's like everything I like to stay a little mysterious. I don't really want to have everything out there on the internet. Maybe that's part of it. And maybe that's why I should have a burner account. I do like my anonymity, and I feel like if I start a Substack, and it wouldn't be super personal. I would do something, my adventures in real estate and my interior and my clothing and my, it'd be stupid stuff. It would be like kind of fun, fun stuff. I wouldn't be like bearing my soul or anything. So I don't know what I'm worried about, but it's funny you bring it up, because I have been, like I said, I did start the Substack, but I'm really struggling with creating a routine of like writing, carving out time to write. I'm lazy. I'm doing all these other things.
Well, it's
I'm
not
like
laziness. I know what you mean. It's a muscle. Like you got to flex that muscle. I mean,
It is
I'm with
definitely.
you. I write like copy. I write news
Yeah,
copy.
same.
I could
Yeah.
do that all day.
Same.
Which I do. But like to write something that's of substance that I think somebody else might get something out of, that's hard. That's a
It
hard
is
exercise.
and you have to like focus. So my cat has taken over my seat.
I know.
just so you know.
I no one can see you except me, Heather, but I noticed that you stood up. I'm like, does she have sciatica? Like, what's happening?
No,
There's a cat involved.
Charlie is he has these moments of he wants to dominate, and if I'm sitting in his chair, which all of the chairs are his chairs, he'll like tower over me as if he's going to attack me. And so I just get up. I just like let him sit there.
And
so
you
that he
you
won't
don't just
attack
like
me.
pick him up and, kind of.
I do.
Yeah.
I do, but sometimes he'll kind of lash back. It's just a way of getting my attention.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I've got a couple animals like that in my life, too.
Okay. I'm a little bit, as you know, a little bit of a superstitious slash, like setting intentions, I think can be very helpful. And I'm trying to be better at that. Like, okay, what are my goals? Like, what do I want to do with my mind and, my life? I mean, I think about this all the time, and I'm like, I would love to write more. It would really, I really think I need to, but I don't know what it is. I think I tend to do everything else before that, and then the day is just over. And I need to be a little bit more disciplined in that way. And I want to make the effort. It's strangely hard for me. It's like not eating cookies at night. Like I don't have the willpower to not eat cookies.
Well, but of course you do. But I know what you mean. 100%.
It's hard. I mean, it's like
100% I
having
know
that
what you
glass of
mean.
wine with dinner. These are things
Yeah.
I've learned about myself. I think as we age, I realize these things, these patterns. Like I think I'm hard on myself. I expect myself to be great. I want to be great. Damn it. And I have high expectations about life. I have high standards, and I'm maybe even a perfectionist. And it's not always a good thing. I'm hard on myself, and
Well,
I
being
want
a
to do a lot of
perfectionist
wonderful
is
things.
a series of disappointments. Let's be honest.
100%. Yeah, because the expectations, my boyfriend's always telling me this.
You're always gonna fall short and be like, oh, I'm not good enough.
Exactly. Yeah. And but at the same time, I'm like, well, I still don't hate this about myself, because I think it's good to shoot for the stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can sometimes overthink it. and kind of, get myself into a little bit of a mood, because I'm like, I don't know, like what is my legacy? How does this journey end? Is there a payoff? How can I just like let go of expectations and just like chill,
Yeah.
and that I'm working on it. I'm working on it, y'all. If you guys have any suggestions on how to do that, email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com.
Please do. Please do. And just, Heather, I know that I know you're not alone.
Thanks.
We both know things. Yeah, it's time is a flat circle. But yeah, I mean, going back to like the very, very bad day that Dr. Seuss and Sarah had yesterday. I mean, I honestly was like, there were times, again, like I was just in a weird hole where I was like, I'm just like a loser,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
a
what
loser who
happens. You
can't
start
do
to spiral.
anything right.
Yeah.
And I know people have fleeting thoughts like that all the time. Some of us struggle with it more than others, but just that kind of like, I should be better. I should be smarter.
Totally.
I should try harder.
I should write more. I should go to Burning Man.
I should go. Well, no, I actually don't want to do that at all. But just not my thing. But too much glitter and mud.
You're not a costumey person either, but
I'm
we
not.
digress.
No. Speaking of Halloween, I'm like, I don't wear costumes. I'll go to your party. I'm not wearing shit. But costumes make people act weird. It has always
I remember one time
though
you did dress up and you were a tea bag or you were a D bag or something with Prager.
I was
you were a hoe bag, of course.
I was a hoe bag. We had a D bag and a tea bag. We all wore trash bags and came to your party.
That was really fun.
Great. It was one of those like, all right, what do we do? We can't go.
Trash bags.
Heather really wants us.
What do we have in the cabinet?
Yeah, I'm a hoe bag. Yeah, I know. I mean, what one of my finer moments. But yeah, I know what you mean. And I think it's good to strive for the best version of ourselves, and at the same time,
be kind.
I
think that's really I think you can do both. Try to find some balance in that. It's funny. We talked last week and the week before about email sign-offs. Well, I have a new one for you, Sarah. I wanted to throw this out to the audience here. So I have a new kind of business associate that I'm working with. And
is it David Lynch?
No, it's Sophia Coppola. No, just kidding. That's why I'm pissed I didn't get invited.
Diane Keaton?
No, really. Actually, she's no one you know. But she signs all of her emails with delightfully, comma. And I thought it was interesting because she's a very new person in my life, and we have just been talking about the sign-offs, and I've never known anyone to use delightfully. And I really took a pause yesterday. I was like, delightfully, is it just sort of an interesting word? It's an interesting choice. It's very
positive.
It is.
So in that sense, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm with some of our audience out there. I think I'm still on the cheers train, maybe the peace and love train. I don't know. Delightfully might be a little too lofty for me. A little too, a little woo woo.
It's kind of like cafe gratitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you are joyful.
That's exactly right. A little too much.
If no one understands that reference, there is I don't even know if they exist anymore. Okay, they do. This is like a super granola California chain.
Like quinoa bowls.
A few restaurants. Like there's one in SF. There's a couple in LA. And I don't even know if they still do this because I haven't been there in a while. But it's like vegan food and like smoothies and that sort of thing. But one of the things that when you're ordering something on the menu, it all has like little you are adventurous. This is an adventurous smoothie type thing. And so you order what you want to order, and then the person gives it to you and says, you are adventurous. little culty, not gonna lie, but I like their food.
I do.
So
I like
here we go.
granola food. I really do. In fact, I made a really
Love
granola
it.
stir fry last
that-
night.
I mean,
It was delicious.
That's kind of all I
Same.
want. Yes, I know.
We're
I'm a
the
fucking
same in
hippie,
that way,
okay?
Sarah. I think we like our nubby,
We are.
nutritious food. On that note, it's getting smoky in here. I think I'm going to have to close the windows. It's a bummer.
Oh, Heather, I'm
bummed.
sorry. I'm sorry. I hope that the air quality.
Well,
I don't know.
Here's
Does a
one thing
180
I'd
for
like
you.
for these app developers out there to think about. Is there a way to predict the week? You can predict a week out for weather. I mean, more or less. Can I look into the next week and find out if it's going to be smoky for another couple days, or maybe it'll pass in the next day? I'd like to know that because I'll get out of Dodge.
You know what? I'm gonna send you some of my weather Twitter
please.
people, like people who are like very, I don't know. They just that's their thing. That's their. They're not I mean, they're kind of like sort of Substack anonymous, to be honest, but they're just like weather Twitter.
Totally. I love those people.
But you say
I
things
need to
right
be in
enough
that
times,
Twitter feed.
and then the rest of us follow
I
you.
need this in my life, Sarah.
Yeah, I know. I have a couple people that I hear from all the time that could be helpful to you.
I
But yes,
appreciate it.
but I know what you mean. Like a weather app itself is going to tell you like, here's like what's gonna happen.
I'd love a
maybe
prediction on the
over
smoke
next 10
though.
days, but
I know,
every day
and the
it
wind,
changes.
and also the wind yesterday blew it all down to the Bay Area. In fact, I had friends that were like, "Now it's here," and I'm like, "Yeah, it just got really windy here today," and I think it blew it all down there. So I was like, "I'm sorry."
Well,
Anyway.
everyone, Heather and I hope you have such a good day. Thank you for letting us vent. This was kind of a venti
It was a
show.
bit of a venti show.
Not to be confused with venti latte, because I don't.
I need one of
do
those
that
about
at
right
Starbucks.
now.
They're like, "Do you want a tall?"
I go
or
tall.
Yeah, I'm like, I just say small or large,
Yeah.
and sometimes they look at me and go like, "So you mean venti?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I
Use
do,
the
and
right
you know
lingo,
that I
Sarah.
do." So you know what? Let's all just keep it pushing, okay? All right, everybody, thank you for listening. Heather and I appreciate you more than you will ever know.
And we will try to get off this struggle bus of life.
We will. Sometimes life is a struggle bus. Let's be honest. We're in a safe space here. Real quick, for our patrons, thank you so much for supporting us. Your contributions mean that we keep the lights on
100%.
around here. We really, really appreciate it. If you want to know more about directly supporting the show, getting an ad-free version of the show, because our free version definitely has ads. So, thank you for everybody who liked the show anyway. But if you'd like to kind of be a premium member, patreon.com/havesuchagoodday is where to find out more about
Good
that.
word, Sarah. And who likes ads? I don't. I
you.
had someone send me a documentary on YouTube the other day. I wanted to watch it, but it was like every few minutes was an ad, and I couldn't do it.
Well, I sometimes, when I want to be masochistic at the gym, I'll listen to our show. And the only reason I say that is because I hate the sound of my own voice. I also hate the, what I see in the mirror. It's just, this is
It's self-hatred.
how we all feel about ourselves, right? Well, I mean, I don't hate myself, but I think I am my own worst critic. But when I listen to the free version of the show, I'm like, oh man, there are a lot of ads sometimes. And listen, that gives us a few pennies here and there. So that's what we're working with.
Are on their way out though, so that should tell you something.
Heather just drops
I kind of
pennies in
do
rivers.
actually.
I've
I don't
seen
like
her do
pennies.
it.
I give the penny jar pennies because like when they give me 4 pennies back, I put them in the penny because I'm trying to help a brother or sister out.
Parting story. I can't help it. Talking about pennies. Yeah, because I'm like, I just don't carry cash. Although I had a weird dream last night that I had like $100
Awesome.
bills in my wallet. And I
got a little cash these days.
I guess I forgot
kinda nice.
about that. I don't have, like, I wouldn't No, maybe in a drawer somewhere, like I could find a quarter. But I don't.
And a pen.
I don't
Maybe
use
there's
cash.
a pen there with that quarter.
Oh no, there isn't, because I looked for one yesterday and I couldn't find it. Who needs pens? But the other day I was going to get my vitamin water at my little corner store, and they're weird there. I don't know. They need to like figure out like how to be nicer to customers. But the guy was like, cash only, and I'm like, no, it isn't. I've been here before. And he's like, cash only. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go somewhere else. And he's like, okay. Because their machines were down. He just didn't have a good demeanor about it. But it's like, cash only. I think a lot of people would be like, oh, okay, not the end of the world. I'll just, see what's in, it's like, I'm buying a vitamin water. What is it, $3, $2, that kind of thing. And, here I am being like, what do you think I have cash on me? And I'm in a hurry. Goodbye, sir. So anyway.
Great story, Sarah. That's a good one.
I'm done. Thanks, Heather.
Y'all out there, stay beautiful. And spread the peace, spread the love. Mm-hmm. Until next week, I will be Heather forever.
And I will be Sarah Ferrera.
Have such a good day. That's an order.
Bye.